Okay, so today we're going to be talking about servers, why they're useful, and why I use them for drops. So, to begin with, there's a couple different servers you can use. I personally prefer Google Cloud just because they do give you $300 credit at the very beginning compared to like Amazon Web Services and other server providers, which you would have to pay out of pocket for. And these actually do really well as well compared to them. They are a little bit slower on like the ping part, which doesn't matter a ton, but it does give you really good speeds. So if you do have a slower internet connection based on where you're at, this is a good way to get around it, and anyone can use them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just go to google.com. Just make sure you have a Gmail account, and then just search Google Cloud Servers. The first link is going to take you right here, and then all you're going to have to do is click the Go to Console. So before you can actually see this page that I'm seeing right now, you're going to have to set up your billing profile. Just because when you do actually end up running out of credit, it's going to charge you for the services used. But once you do run out of credit, you can just hop over to another Gmail account that you have, or even create one, and you'll have another $300 credits that you can use to continue. So as you see right now, I have $291 left of mine. I made this last night for the Off-White Air Force One drops. I moved it over from my company server, so I don't use the credit on there, and I'm just using it on this side. This will just be for sneakers for me. So after you get to this page and added your billing profiles and everything like that in, you're just going to want to go to the compute engine and go to the VM instances. Now this is going to show you the one I've already made, and I'm going to show you that in a minute just so I don't have to wait for it to actually start and make one. But right here it's going to show you my address, which doesn't really matter because as soon as I stop this instance and restart it on the next drop, it's going to give me a new IP address, so that part doesn't really matter. So the first part you're going to want to do is you're going to click create an instance, as you won't have one yet. And then right here you can name it to whatever you want, so that way you know what instance is what if you want to make multiple. So if you want to make one for like the London or Europe drops, for like Dover Street Market London, or like Mr. Porter EU or anything like that, then you can change it to like your Europe server, and then one from like your East Coast, and one for like maybe like a Chicago based on where your proxies are at, because that's going to be like your biggest determining factor of where you want to make your server, just so that way they can communicate with the servers in their area a lot faster. Shopify is hosted mainly in Chicago. Dover Street Market New York is hosted in New York. And then Dover Street Market London is hosted in London. Those are kind of like the bigger ones since they tend to get most of the drops. But yeah. So right here, you're going to go and choose your region. So like I said before, if you're making it for like a Europe drop, just make sure you choose one that's closer to your proxies. For London, based wherever you actually have your proxies at. For this, just for this guide, I'm going to choose the US Central for Iowa, which is actually really close to Chicago, which is where most of my proxies are at. Now the zones don't matter as much. You can play around with it to see if maybe you can get one that is actually a little bit closer to your proxies as well. They kind of hop around a little bit, but I haven't seen much of a difference on this part. Right here you can choose to learn a little bit more, and it'll actually show where those zones are located, but like I said, I haven't seen much of a difference. This is a big part of your server. You can choose essentially how many cores you want, which you're always going to want to max it out, and your memory as well. They have, let me see right here, but they have a way you can actually choose which ones you want. This is kind of like just to make it a little bit quicker if you're trying to go fast, but I always do customizable because I'm always going to choose 8 cores and 52 gigabytes because it's free, might as well max it out. And then right here, this is one of the biggest parts for it, is you have to choose what operating system you're going to run. Almost all of them run on Windows, and I don't think that they actually have any like Mac or iOS servers. But yeah, on this part, you're going to choose Windows Server 2012 for like R2 data center. So this is the one you do have to choose. It doesn't work on 2016 for some reason. Only the 2012 one works. So after you choose that, just select, that's going to change this, and as you see, it's only going to cost me 65 cents an hour, which is almost nothing. I mean, I'm not going to run it for the full month. I'm only going to be running it for a couple hours and maybe even a day or two, based on the drops, because a lot of the drops end up dropping the following days. Now, for another big part for this, you always have to choose allow HTTP traffic and HTTPS traffic. This will allow you to actually be able to use your bots and for them to actually send and process requests along with you downloading the bots and any applications that you want on your server. Now I'm going to go over this even though it's not needed as much, but if you're a little bit more lazy, you can go to your networking and choose this. So from your external, you can choose it to like create an IP address and reserve a static internal address. That'll make sure that you always have the same IP address, so the remote desktop file that you download in a second that I'm going to show you will always be valid, and you can just continue to use that one download to log into your server. For this one, I'm not going to set that up because, like I said before in the beginning, I don't mind that it changes the IP address. I actually prefer it, so that way if I actually show anything, or if I run no proxies on my bot, and I move over to, and they end up getting banned on sites, and when I launch it the next drop, it's going to have a new IP address for me, which doesn't really matter too much because they usually unblock them anyway, but just a personal preference. So after that, you click create. I stopped mine already from making any more because this one's running. And then on this, I'm just going to show you my server I've already made, but it'll essentially create this one for you and it'll launch it. If you ever want to stop your server so that way you stop getting charged, you can either shut it down from the server side after you've logged in, or you can go to this tab right here and just click that checkbox and click stop. I'm going to keep mine running because I'm still going for drops. And then right here, you're going to click set Windows password. This is going to set a username and a password for you to actually be able to log in through remote desktop. This is needed because if you don't have that, it's not going to let you log in because it's going to have like a default password and username that you're not going to have. So just make sure you set your Windows password and username right here. And then if you want, I personally prefer this to download the RDP file. That'll just make like a download links right here. I'm not going to show you mine right now because I have other downloads. And then you just click the download link and it'll start up the remote desktop, and all you'll have to do is just type in your password. So just make sure you save your username and password in like a TXT file or something along those lines, so that way you can have it whenever you need it. So then I'm going to show you mine. So this is the one I have running already. As you see, I'm just running for some of the off-white drops that are dropping. I'm guessing over the next couple days. So I'm going to keep mine running for a while. So after you get here, it's going to first launch this. So this is what you're going to first see. It's just your server dashboard essentially. So this is where you can change a lot of stuff. The first thing you're going to have to do to actually be able to go and download stuff is you'll go to your local server, and you're going to go to your IE, so your Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configurations. For you guys, it's going to be listed as on at the very beginning. You're just going to want to change it from on to off, and then click OK. And then you can launch your Internet Explorer to get everything downloaded. If you've already launched it before you turn this off, just make sure you close it and relaunch it. Otherwise, it's still going to have the old settings. So after you've turned that off, you can go and download everything you need to, from your Discord to your bot. I prefer Google Chrome because I hate Internet Explorer. And then I'm just going to show you some of the speeds that this one's getting. Tapped out last night after a couple of drops before I had everything running was around 2.5 gigabytes down and around 3 gigabytes for upload speed and 16 milliseconds for my ping. So we'll see what this one gets right now. I'm expecting probably like, oh, this is a little bit lower of a test. We'll do another one. But most of the time these are around like 1 to 2 gigabytes easy for download speed, and upload speed is about the same usually as well. And then this is a way you can double check to see where your server is actually located, because sometimes it's going to change for you guys and what you select is maybe not what you're getting. That's just because Google does have to like fill other people as well, because there's a lot of people that use their servers and they can't just give you the exact server that you want every single time. So as you see, this one's a lot better of a test. And you can test these a couple times just to kind of see what your actual speed is, because sometimes like if it's loading up and everything like that, you're going to get a little bit lower for speeds. Like I just did a couple tests before this video and I was at like around 2 gigabytes for both of these. Anyway, I'll just move on from that because I don't need to just go through it again. So the best thing for this, most bots, they do have an import-export feature. So I like to download Discord so that way I can export all of my tasks, my billing profiles, and my proxies before I actually make the server. And then I can just send all of those files through Discord to myself and then import them on this side so that way I don't have to remake anything. And I can just use essentially what I'd be using on my home computer, but on a faster network. So that is pretty much everything. Just make sure that before you close out and are done with the server and turn it off, that you deactivate your license key on these. So that way you can reactivate it on your home computer, or when you make another server that you can actually use your license key again without having to go to your bot company's Discord and have to find a way to deactivate your previous one because it's not going to save over. The cool thing is though, after you've made a server like this, it does keep like your information for like your Discord, your bots, and anything you've downloaded. It'll keep the main files of it over, but it's not going to keep your actual license keys, so just make sure you do that. So that pretty much covers everything. If you have any questions, I do have a cook group on the Twitter. It's Soul Premium, which you can kind of see on the back. It's just at Soul Premium. And then I also answer a lot of the questions in the comments below. And we have a Discord link on our Twitter as well. So if you want to come join, I'm active in there most of the day. So if you have any questions or follow-up questions on this, I'm more than happy to help you out. Thanks.